Okay, so in this video I want to share some learning lessons from this guy Charlie Morgan that perhaps can help you to become more disciplined and productive with your own work. So first of all is that the right big meaningful goal for you can be the solution for you to quit any bad habit. And let me tell you a story on how I did this basically. So it was about a year or two ago, something like this. I was in class, I'm there in class, in school, and man, I'm just hating it. I'm hating the environment. I don't want to be there. Especially then, I had that urge for freedom. I didn't want to stay there with those people learning about that whatever stuff. I wanted freedom, right? And I saw one time also this McLaren, this black McLaren 720S or 765, I'm not sure, on the not projector, whatever, that big screen, whatever that teachers use. And we were in physics class, and the teacher wants to put for us something to watch, something educational on the topic of the lecture of the day that we were there, right? So just before that, on the YouTube homepage, I see that a thumbnail with a black McLaren 720s or whatever that is, and bro, I literally get so inspired and literally so excited, right? Because it's not just about how that car will make me feel in terms of, oh, look guys, look, I have a McLaren, no. But it's about that I associated that with the life of freedom, of having my own choices, right? And all that stuff. And how this relates to basically me quitting my bad habits and therefore becoming way more disciplined with my work and being productive is that back then, because I had that goal, man, especially then, I felt this, I wanted to go so bad, so much that literally I quit video games, I quit wasting time on TikTok and whatever other bad habits. I just quit them instantly. Fair enough, maybe after not slowly though, that kind of fast, right? That's what I mean. I deleted video games and just that was it. So the thing is, look, I managed to quit those bad habits simply because my goal was so big, and therefore I put more effort and more stuff in my self-development journey. I developed my character and so on, right? And now I have more specific work on this YouTube channel, on the courses, whatever that I'm focusing on, unlike back then. But you get the point. And so the thing is, you gotta find a meaningful goal, and even if that addiction or whatever is super big for you, doesn't matter. If the goal is a bit bigger or a lot bigger in terms of the meaning, you will be able to quickly, easily quit that bad habit, no matter what it is. Because think about it, right? You have your goal, and Charlie said you will align your behavior to that big, meaningful goal. Think about it. Basically, you want to move towards the goal, right? But the bad habit kind of pulls you in the other direction, because it doesn't allow you to put more effort in into becoming more disciplined, more energized, more productive, and getting more work done, and so on, simply because that bad habit, you don't just schedule it, you want it every day, you crave it. And so point is, that allows you to just simply take the goal. It's not the easiest thing in the world to quit that bad habit, because you have this meaningful goal, you'll just quit so easy, no problem. So that's the first lesson. Really journal about this today. That's the action. That's the action step on how to do this. Journal about what is the most meaningful goal for you. What is the big problem you gotta fix in your life, and just focus on that. Focus on that, and make it super specific. Learn about it, this and that, and make it more familiar. Focus on it every day, basically, and make it super meaningful. Find that meaningful goal. Now that's number one. Number two is identity shifting through this principle of trial by fire. This is such an interesting concept. So basically, you have resistance. You might think, why do I self-sabotage, Sebastian? Why do I try to work but I just cannot seem to do it? I just don't work. I just procrastinate. Why, Sebastian? The reason why you procrastinate is simply because your current self, a part of it, doesn't want you to become this new self that operates at a way higher level. Why? because it will be uncomfortable. It will be super, super uncomfortable compared to your current standard of work ethic and productivity, right? We all know this. You got to work more, you got to work better. And so the thing is, that current version of yourself with those current standards will subconsciously self-sabotage or whatever, just so that you don't, eliminate those standards and accept newer, higher ones that of higher discipline, of higher productivity, of higher work ethic. And so the thing is, it will try to fight you. Now, what you got to do on how to become the kind of guy who can achieve better discipline and then therefore better results, productivity, and so on, is because you got to become the person who can do it. You right now cannot do it. So you got to become that person that can do it. Now, that's the thing. How do you become that person? How do you solve this? So there's this equation, which is so simple but so powerful. Please pay attention and take notes. This, I know it sounds simple, but it's literally so powerful. Effort times resistance equals pain. And the more you put effort in against that resistance, the more pain you create. Because it's like a fighting, it's like a fight, it's like a clash. And who puts a more bigger amount of numbers in, or whatever, let's say, what's bigger, your effort or your resistance? And what's bigger will win. That's the thing. And so you create more pain. That's the thing. And so the more pain you create, the more you eliminate those current standards. That's the thing. I don't want to say the word with K because YouTube, but you get the point. You basically eliminate those current standards of yours, the more pain and discomfort you create. Not physically, I mean, you don't just go and injure yourself. That's not what I mean. But metaphorically speaking, it's uncomfortable to do and keep doing that work. Now, the thing is, at the beginning, it will feel the hardest, right, to keep pushing through that pain, for that discomfort. But the thing is, you see, the more you do that, and sorry for that noise outside, but the more you do that, the more you'll actually start to adopt and adapt to new standards of discipline, of actually being able to, and adapting to working for hours and hours in a row, uninterrupted, no problem, daily. That's what I started to do, actually. I mean, I just picked, and also I read this book, The One Thing, from Gary Keller, and he said just pick the one thing, just focus on that for most of the time, or something like this. And what I did is just from 6 a.m. to like 2:30 or whatever, I stripped my schedule away, I got it away, and I just focused on that one thing, which is making the videos, making them as valuable as possible. So making that, and perhaps if I finished early, whatever other task. And bro, I completed that book in 2 days. I took notes, I implemented it into my own life, it worked. I taught it on the video, I already posted it. And so thing is, you got to set obviously some time for you to actually practice on this battleground, and then on this battleground you put so much more effort in, because now you have the time, until you actually get through that or beyond or above that first wall. That first wall is the hardest to climb, or at least it feels like it. But then after that you adapt, and it's actually super easier to do a lot of work. I struggled with monk mode, to be honest. I struggled with staying focused for a long time because of either bad mental health or feeling lonely or some dumb stuff. Now I kind of fixed it. I don't feel that anymore. It's kind of interesting. Perhaps it was a mental health issue, I don't know. But the point is, I'm fine. And I actually managed to complete a bunch of work simply because of this principle of just putting more effort in, even when you kind of don't feel like it. You just still put the effort in because you want the goal, and because you want to become the kind of person that is operating at a way higher standard. Then you want to show yourself you can actually do it, right? You want to push yourself and see what you can do. And it's not like you gotta work 16 hours a day necessarily, but maybe, at least a couple, and you actually level up, because you right now are not even perhaps working or at least producing the results of and having the productivity over a couple hours. Maybe you have like 1 hour of actual deep work and just shallow work after that, or something. But you just manage to work for hours and hours and hours and hours, and you keep pushing a bit more until you erode and eliminate these current standards of yours and adapt to newer, higher work ethic, and becomes your standard and your habit. And the more that this happens, as Sam Alvin said also, the more it becomes an instinct. You go from normal to habit to instinct. It becomes a part of you, what you actually are doing. It becomes a part of your identity. It literally becomes your new standard. You always get your standards. So if you're not productive enough, that's simply because you have a too low standard. But the good part is, though, the good part is that you can raise it. So that's what you do. And you set, for example, a certain goal. Okay, from this hour to this hour, let's just work. You gotta put yourself a deadline. Otherwise, you'll just listen to your mind and just quit sooner. For example, when I run on my 10-kilometer runs, I keep running and I know that the body can go for way longer, but the mind just wants to quit way earlier. And so thing is, I know that, okay, I can go for way longer, so I should not stop. And because I gave myself a goal, okay, run for an hour and a half or 10 kilometers specifically, well, I don't stop until I hit that. And so thing is, yes, it's uncomfortable, but I still keep going because I know I can. I already also showed myself. That's another thing. Exposure is massive, and your current standards will try to subconsciously make you procrastinate to not be exposed to what you can actually do, so that becomes your new standard, right? But you gotta do it. You gotta adopt a new standard. And once you expose yourself, you cannot be unexposed. That's the law of exposure. And so thing is, you'll know what you're capable of and that you can keep going for way longer because you already did it before. You might as well do it now. And you just form this habit and this instinct of working for way better, way longer. And the more effort you put in, the weaker that resistance will become. But you gotta keep an eye on it, because if you just take your eye off it, or it becomes too easy, and you don't give yourself some harder stuff to do or something for the day, well, obviously that resistance can creep up on you. So that's not good. You gotta keep an eye on it, and you gotta beat it to its knees. And if you hear that, by the way, outside it's kind of raining apparently. Oh, pretty cool view. But anyway, so that's the second lesson, right? That's the second lesson. Why exactly don't you just operate in a way more productive way? So one, you just let the resistance beat you, and resistance can manifest for different forms, such as boredom, anxiety, perfectionism, loneliness, bad mental health in general, fear of success, fear that you can lose it all, the progress, fear that it won't be worth it, fear of what others might say, boredom, instant gratification, and so on. All these forms, comfort, all these things are forms of resistance, of what holds you back. But that's not an excuse, because you control it. It holds you back if you allow it, and especially if you're not aware of it, right? So thing is, awareness is key, and then you gotta take more self-control. That's why meditation is so powerful, because when you get that more self-awareness, you gain exponentially more self-control over your decisions, and that reflects in your diet, in your work, in your physique, the habits you're doing, how you do them, with the quality. So that's another thing. Now, so one is the forms of resistance, of bad mental health, let's say, also especially, because that's not just that especially, but that's another like big point. So if you have a bad mental health, if you feel sad all the time, and if you feel lonely and stuff, just improve your mental health. I mean, you do that through meditation, through being outside more, and I gotta do that better myself. I was just focused on for some days on some really like interesting stuff that was a lot of productive stuff. But point is, I gotta get outside more myself, and it helps each and every time when I just spend too little time outside. My mental health kind of gets lower, and of course it's clear, because it's obvious. I mean, because we're not meant to be and to live between four walls all day, every day. Of course not. So thing is, we gotta get outside more. That will massively improve our mental health, our happiness overall. And so you won't have that distraction of sadness, and therefore, or let's say try, or that distraction of trying to feel better, therefore procrastinating and trying to do something else that is probably a bad habit, and that's why you end up wasting time. So you got to improve your mental health and you fix that. Procrastination is not the problem, it's a symptom of the problem. So what's the problem? Now, thing is, maybe your lack of effort that you got to put in, maybe or slash and that you got to improve your mental health. And bro, a workout will instantly cure your depression 100%. You want to try it? Go. It will increase your serotonin levels, your endorphins. Go hit the gym. It will be absolutely phenomenal. You'll feel absolutely amazing for like 5, 10, 12 hours even after that. It will be absolutely amazing. That's massive. And also meditation, getting outside more, being healthy. Meditation, I said it right? Pretty sure. So yeah, that's what you do. You improve your mental health. You get rid of all these forms of resistance because you put all this effort in. And yeah, there we go. And also, what you gotta do is to mature more. And I made the video on that. I gotta post it. So because it's not posted yet, I gotta post it today. This video is maybe even after that, a day or two later, after that one is posted today. And so thing is, yeah, it will probably be already posted, so you can go and watch it. But basically, the more you mature, the more you actually begin to just do your work without caring about all these little things of just trying to, wanting instant gratification and wanting to just feel better. You overall feel fine. You're a mature guy. You become, wiser. And so thing is, look, I'm not the most mature guy in the world, but the point is, I felt how my maturity leveled up quite a bit in the past days, and I just understood way more and more, and felt the fact that, okay, the idea of I don't feel like doing work is just childish. It's just kind of silly. I mean, I cannot do my work because the others don't feel like it. I mean, bro, in these past days even, I had things I didn't feel like doing, but I still went and didn't. And it's fine, because it's my purpose. What else am I supposed to do? Of course, later in the day, I can go outside. I have some other good habits. I play guitar. I do this and that. Some fun, interesting, healthy stuff. Spend time with family and so on. But for most of my day, I want to focus on my purpose, on helping you through these videos, right? Because I had the same problem you have, struggling with actually completing productive work and being disciplined with that and with other stuff that you do, other areas of your life. So point is, it's purposeful for me to actually work on this stuff to help you, because I don't know, it just works that way. I mean, God gave me this purpose. Thank God. And so thing is, amen, yeah. Thing is, what else are you gonna do? You just gotta mature. So watch that guide, because I explained to you some methods I've used to actually become more mature for my age compared to other people, and how that helped me a lot to actually complete a bunch more work. It helped me a bunch. So go and watch that. The next thing is this. Okay, so I told you about the equation. Okay, nice, perfect. And another thing is, this thing is from Gary Keller, from this book, The One Thing. There's the productivity pyramid, or the results pyramid, whatever you want to call it. So basically, at the top you have productivity, right? And then on the lower level of the pyramid you have priority. Then as the base you have purpose or / goal. Thing is, why most of us struggled with actually staying focused, completing a bunch of work, and being in monk mode. I struggled with that. I couldn't do it before the learning about this. The reason why we struggled with all that, obviously there's distractions, this and that, but you didn't prioritize correctly, and you didn't manage this time system correctly enough, if that makes sense. So point is, your productivity will start to skyrocket in 10x and flow effortlessly once you actually get to the bottom of the pyramid, or the lower levels, bam, 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 and actually fix all the steps up. from the foundation to the top. Because if the foundation is bad, obviously the pyramid will crumble, like any building. So point is, you gotta pick your goal, and you gotta be like one that you gotta focus on, one thing that you focus most on. You can have some whatever little bits in here of other stuff, but mainly just one thing, because essentialism is powerful, right? If you focus on one thing, you'll, for quite some time, until you level up quite a lot, it will be way faster progress compared to you trying to level up all these bits and of other things at the same time. That's the thing. So pick one thing that is the most important for you to right now to improve on and to work on for the discipline stuff. I, for example, work on these YouTube videos and try to develop my business and all that stuff and learn about how to do all this. Now, my one thing is making the videos. So point is, then you actually, I mean, you have the goal, right? You want to help, for example, I want to help you guys. And that's my purpose also. Now the priority was the priority task, the one thing in terms of the micro, the task that you gotta do, the one task you gotta do so that over time, when you do it, you achieve the goal eventually. The one task for me is making the videos. That's it. So the thing is, you gotta see for yourself, what's the one task so that you achieve the goal, was the priority to focus on for most of the time in the day, so that, or at least how much you have available, so that eventually you achieve the goal. And the moment I did this and that I stripped away all the other stuff I had, now fair enough, this summer, so I couldn't be doing this in a school day. The point is, when I don't have school, for example, right now, what I did, from 6 a.m. to 2:30 p.m., nothing but work. I had some other habits in between. I got rid of them. Well, not got rid of them, I mean, I put them later in the day, so that I focus just on work. When I did that, productivity started to flow. I started to focus on my one priority for hours uninterrupted, and my productivity skyrocketed. It 10x or something. I don't know exactly the number, but it skyrocketed. It's huge progress. So thing is, monkey mode became easy. Focus became easy. Discipline started to flow. And yes, I had moments when I kind of felt like taking a break and so on. But for example, when I was taking notes from that book, implementing them into my life, and then actually scripting the video, making it, I read the book in 2 days, guys. Think about it. For hours and hours and hours and hours and hours uninterrupted, just reading, taking notes, applying it to my life, getting results, putting it into the video, making the video. For hours uninterrupted. For 2 days. And I completed pretty much that book. I skipped some, only like 1, 2, whatever chapters that I already knew everything about pretty much, or at least the idea. But pretty much a whole book in like 2 days. That's huge. I wouldn't have had this level of productivity if I had some other habits in between, if I scheduled my work across the day. No, I just put, okay, from 6 a.m. to 2:30, just do my work then. And then all the other stuff after that, eating, all that other stuff. I didn't even eat before 2:30 p.m. That's it. At the day as well, like 2:30 p.m. and I didn't even have my first meal. Then after that, I went and had it. Simple. And I got so much work done simply because of this principle. So you gotta find the goal, the one goal that is the most meaningful for you right now. Find the one priority that if you focus on that one task will actually make you eventually achieve the goal, and therefore productivity will start flowing if you actually allow the time for that. I mean, you don't just get distracted by multiple things in between, but you actually set 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, or however much you have and can towards working on that one thing, on that goal, and you'll get exponential progress in terms of your productivity. Yeah. So thing is, you become this new person, that's operating at a way higher standard by doing all these, and it works because it's not just what you do, it's the type of person you are that does these things, because the way you do one thing is the way you do everything, and that will reflect. And you gotta understand, you gotta make sure you organize all the things in your life, this and that, your room, your environment, if possible, because that will simply cause you to become a more organized, productive, disciplined individual. That's another thing. We gotta focus on this person. We don't just achieve goals, as Charlie said, but we got to become the person who can achieve them. And so, thing is, through these methods, you can apply them daily, and you become he who can actually achieve the goal. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. If you want more help with discipline in depth, I have some coaching goals. You can get my help. The link is in the description. And watch some more videos on the channel if you got value out of this. And also comment what else do you struggle with, because if you need some help, I can actually look for the comments and see what else to make videos on. If you need a specific topic, go and comment there. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one, hopefully. Peace.